This dredge operates on a cable dredge system. A quarter-inch galvanized wire rope travels through the windlass system, the pulleys attached to the floats, and the snatch block pulleys that attach to the front and rear of the machine. It must be stretched taut over the area to be dredged. There are many ways this can be accomplished. Many things can be used for anchor points. The most common are trees or the anchor plates, which are provided as a part of the travel package. One way is to stretch the travel cable between two anchor points. This way requires you to move the anchor points each time you finish a cut through the debris. The most common way to set this up is to run two cables parallel to each other on opposite sides. You then stretch the travel cable between the 2 points. This will resemble an H pattern that's shown in the diagram. After each cut is complete, you only need to loosen the travel cable, slide it over, and retighten it. To assemble your two parallel cables, you will need to cut lengths from the spool of quarter-inch galvanized rope that is provided in the travel package. When cutting the parallel cables, make sure to leave each length longer than you will need. So when you move to your next cut further down the body of water, you have enough cable to stretch over wider sections. This picture shows an assembled end to the cable. Make sure during assembly that when using the two Crosby clips, the red U shape goes on the cut end, and the silver metal part goes on the long end. This video gives a demonstration over how the ends need to be assembled. Each of the 6 ends needs to be made like this, so all 6 anchor points can be attached. To utilize the stake plates, you need to anchor them to the ground with the 4 stakes provided. This video demonstrates how you will drive them into the ground. In real-world circumstances, you will need to drive all 4 stakes fully into the ground. When removing the stakes, simply hit the stake on the sides to loosen it from the ground. This should make it possible to pull the stake from the ground easily. To utilize the tree anchor option, simply take one of the 4 nylon ropes and wrap it around the tree like in this picture. Attach it to your finished anchor cable using the clasp in the picture. This video shows a sample of this process.
Here we will start with an overview on how to properly set up each parallel guide cable. Start with one completed end and fasten it to the anchor point. Move to the next anchor point and pull until taut by hand. Make your next end and fasten it to the anchor. This will leave you with excess cable when pulled taut. Repeat this process for your second guide cable.
When attaching the travel cable, make a loop on the cut end. Attach this end to the parallel guide that runs over the water. When you get to the attachment point on the parallel cable, do not cut from the spool. Leave attached in case you need a long travel cable for the next section. We will come to this after discussing the come-along further.
Once the 6 guide ends are made, you will use a come-along to attach the travel cable to the parallel guide cable. You will need to assemble the come-along after opening the package. Insert the handle and make sure it locks into place. Hold down the release lever for the spool and pull out the entire length of the cable. Attach the come-along to the parallel guide cable with the clasp that is attached to the body of the come-along. Make a loop end on the uncut end of the travel guide cable. Pull hand tight. You will use the come-along to tension the travel guide down the rest of the way.
The travel cable can be run across the dredge site before attaching to the dredge. The cable can be attached to the dredge without any uses of the hand tools.
Take care not to drop any parts into the water during this process. Start with the pulley block from the front of the dino, which is the one closest to the cutter head. Remove the pins to open the pulley block up so you can place the cable on the pulley. Make sure to attach the block with the grease zerk facing up to allow for easier greasing. Remount the pulley block as shown in the video. From the front pulley block, remove the pin from the front cheek block, the pulley located by the cutter head attached to the float. Guide the cable onto the pulley. Replace the pin and the small cotter pin to secure the cable. From the front cheek block, guide the cable down to the windlass system. There are 2 retention pins that must be removed, here and here, before you can wrap the cable around. Once the retention pins are removed, the cable is wrapped under the back pulley, then over the top. Then back around under the bottom of the front pulley, then back over the top. Then stretched back to the cheek block located on the back of the machine. Make sure to reinsert the retention pins before moving to the next pulley. Place the cable in the rear cheek block the same way that was shown in the front cheek block. Last, attach the rear pulley block the same way you did to the one in the front.
Once the cable rigging has been set and the travel cable rigged to the machine, you will now use the come-along to tension down the travel cable to the parallel guide cable.